You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Good evening.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 21st of September to the 28th of September, 2024, starting with Detective Conan, episode 1135, Ooka Momji's Sweet Trap, Part 1.
It's a clever poon because not only have traps been used to ensnare the love triangle or one of the members of the love triangle in order to keep her out of the picture, but I'm pretty sure that guy's been poisoned with lollipops. So it's a double entendre.
Oh, okay. I thought it was about his big mouth he can't keep shut.
She does also refer to the other girl as a honey trap, which is like, I don't think that's the correct use of that, but okay, fair enough.
Yes, I was wondering why they'd rearranged this. And once I saw the start of this episode, I was like, that's why they've rearranged this. Because in the manga, just finished a week or so ago, is the follow-up to this story.
Oh, so it's more relevant
So
to the reader.
this is about So the overall plot of this is that they are discussing creating a stage play using characters based on Kogoro Mori and Heiji Hattori.
And neither of them are famous enough on their own. But what if they teamed up to solve a mystery in a stage play?
Well, we're not going to use your real names. We're going to use names which just are close enough to your names that people will know that it's about you. And so that's brought them to Kyoto, where Conan, Kogoro, Heiji, and also Hiyoi Kuroda from the MPD are all at this meeting with...
Well, he's the police consultant. They got the biggest policeman they can find to consult with.
A guy who currently at this point, Conan might still suspect is rum, but we know isn't rum.
See, we know isn't wrong, but he's definitely like he's up to something. Like just everything about him is just like, what is your deal, man? And also, as the ending keeps reminding us, like, what's up with that teacher as well? You can't trust one-eyed people. That's what I say.
This is profiling.
Yes. Yeah. It's very much so. There's something up with those other two characters, even though we know which one of them is rum. We're grand.
Yeah. So they're at a meeting with the playwright, the producer, the stage director, and the director. And they're discussing this. They have a pizza party, and there is a... Oh, yeah. And so the other characters who are here, though, are Ran and Kazuha are also in Kyoto, but they were given the opportunity to... Well, specifically, Kazuha was given the opportunity to pick out...
Like, which sweets shops do you want to go to?
Yes.
Like, and hit all the different places. Hit all the famous ones, all the ones that have been trending on social media. And she's like, ooh, I'm going to hit every fucking shop.
Yes.
And then her spidery sense fucking tingles. It's like, wait a minute.
Yes.
I'm in Kyoto. I'm in danger.
Yes. And the viewer also notices that the driver, that's a back of a haircut we've seen plenty of times.
It's a back of a haircut, but he has a very low pull down flat cap, so it couldn't possibly be anyone we know in disguise as the chauffeur. No, it is it's your one's butler, her romantic rival.
Yes. Momiji Ooka, who claims that when they were younger, her and Heiji were declared that they were going to get married when they were old enough. A self-declared fiance. She's the one funding this play, and it's all a trap to get Heiji alone with her, while the other would-be girlfriend, except they haven't declared their love to each other yet.
I mean, they're clearly into each other, but neither of them have fucking said nothing about it. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So then their plot line is they can't. He won't. So Muga, her bodyguard / chauffeur, won't end the tour, so they're having to rush around all the places. But also, Kazuha refuses not to eat. She's going to eat all the food as well, though.
It's the thing of it's like, wait a minute, you got to bring us back now. And he's like, no, I am under strict orders to bring you to every place on the itinerary before I bring you back. So he will bring them back, but it's just like, you have to go to every sweet shop first. So she's just there cramming in the ice cream. Come on, we got to get through this.
Yes, yeah. She won't just have one spoonful and then leave. She's going to make sure she gets some money's worth out of it as well.
That's the whole parfait, man. You don't want to waste that. Come on. It's funny, and the fact that we keep cutting back to them whenever your one tries another sexy ruse on your man. She's like, "What? She's trying it again. I can sense it." Good shit.
So yeah, the director, trying to remember, he doesn't have any of the pizza. He goes back to his room.
He's on a diet, but he's fucking knocking back them lollipops like there's no end. So, I mean, that'll just run straight through you. Then I know what sugar free does.
He goes to his room. They get worried about him, and he's fallen over on the other side of the door. And they go, "That's just like how the actress we know committed suicide."
They mentioned the actress before, an actress who committed suicide. She fell down and was against the door that turns in, so you had to go through the window to get into the room. Locked room mystery. But she committed suicide due to some shit that they are not saying. The three guys who did know this stuff, but they're also saying that would have been Kogoro's wife, and he's like, "Oh wow, she was gonna play my wife," and it's like, it's not your real wife, bro. It's just who is gonna play your wife in the play. But also, she's dead, so stop being horny over a dead woman who isn't your wife, but playing your wife would have been if she wasn't dead.
Yeah, there's some stuff about the pair of them arguing that, oh yeah, Kogoro like boasts that I've solved more crimes than you have, to which Konan's like, oh, I've solved more crimes than you have.
And he's saying this like psychically to the other kid, and the other kid's like, that means that I've got less of a body count than you. Like that's not a brag, kid.
I'll be a Grim Reaper. So they have to. So Heiji gets a ladder. They go up to the balcony to get in because they can't get in through the door of the bedroom. And Hyoe just kicks in the window.
No, he hits it with a potted plant on the balcony.
Like
very like it's like, oh, we gotta get in. How are we gonna get in? And it like instantly like smashes in without any fucking thought, like a kind of like a caveman. I mean that as a positive in this case.
Yes.
Gook.
No, he doesn't let the children in because obviously he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he's like, only me and the adult fucking detective are allowed on the crime scene. And obviously, when the adult detective comes in, he's like, all right, don't try and disturb this crime scene besides all the glass that I just scattered across the room. And he instantly like goes, whoa, 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 and like knocks over a shitload of lollipops. And it's like, you knew what was going to happen, but like, it's still annoying.
Yes, because he invites Kogoro in, everyone else to stay in. Yes, she knocks over the lollipops, which I assume will be that is the Conan's hint is the lollipops for next episode. The policeman from Kyoto, who we've met before, Funabaru, shows up. He gets a dig in at Hyoe. It's like,
I thought you guys like to be cops, like on TV, smashing in windows and kicking in doors, like being all cool and shit. Well, I'm pretty sure this is a closed case of suicide. Yes. Here's the bottle of water. Here's the bottle of friggin' cyanide, because they're like almonds, like they always fucking do every fucking time.
Yeah,
like,
always almonds. They're going to be eating some macaroons in there or something.
They gotta have like a fucking a condition where they're just scared of the smell of almonds now, because they just assume it's gonna be cyanide at this stage. But yeah, the little cyanide bottles there, the little bottle of water there. Clear case of suicide. He must have killed himself because one of his lead actors killed herself. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And their point out is like, the inside of the cap wasn't wet. And he's like, what? It's like, if he poured it in, which he had to because there's no spoon, then he'd have to shake it, and then the inside of the cap would be wet. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's true. Also, like, if he put it in beforehand, why would he bring the bottle of cyanide with him? He'd just bring the bottle of poison. And he's like, fuck, these stupid kids.
and now it means the other suicide now has to be looked into as well. He hasn't got I assume he's got his chipmunk squirrel, whatever, his friend with him. I don't think we see him I assume there's going to be something about him having to hide it from the more senior.
He's trying to look cool so far, so I assume that's part of it.
Because I was like, the most fun thing about him is the fact that he wanders around with a squirrel in his pocket, and people go, "Are you allowed to do that as a policeman
on a crime scene?"
It's a novel thing.
Is it just crapping in there? What's going on? What's the deal? I feel like this is a health and safety issue.
There's also a law here that says it's illegal to put squirrels out your pants for money.
Oh, I didn't do it for money.
Knock it off in there.
That's a different law you're breaking. I guess it's just him trying to be serious that he's keeping the squirrel on the DL. We will see.
Yeah, I think that's all we get through this episode. They don't even start to analyze who had the motives.
Lollipops is the clue. Sorry, candy is the clue. It might be specifically lollipops then. I don't know. We'll see.
I think they say it must be one of us who was here for the meeting, and you three have more reason.
It's probably not these randos who did not know the guy until they met him today that planned on murdering him. It's probably you three guys who've known him for years, and we're also there when that other woman died in exactly the same circumstances. So, seems pretty likely. And I mean, it's like as with a lot of Conan stuff, a bunch of it's the crime, sure, but most of it is the character relationships and interactions between, because it's just your one like, I'm gonna hold on to him and press my boobs up to him and said, you could show me so many things, and he's like, I'm a teenage boy, so this is not good for my constitution.
Please come, someone's been killed. Is there anybody help me phones? Yeah, hang on. How do you feel about me?
Yes, because there's also a bit earlier on, Kazuha is just like muttering boobs under her breath. It's like, this is her biggest fear, is that this is going to be Heiji's big weakness. He won't be able to resist.
I think she says she can feel him slipping to the dark side from
yes
miles away in a parfait restaurant downtown. But yeah, fun stuff.
Excellent. So I think that all gets wrapped up next week. I think it's just a two-parter. Then
now.
Yes. So I can't remember if this is in the big chunk that's still missing on the Viz manga. Because there's like a sizable, like 100 chapters, I think, missing. I think that's the stuff which has got to wait to get published in paper, and then there's the stuff that when they've been running it weekly since the app launched. Well, I say weekly when it comes out. It's less frequent than One Piece, so
that's all right. Take your time, you'll get there.
Momentous.
I mean, it's getting there, because that's part of the reason why it synced up, is because something pretty momentous happened in that the sequel to this, to the extent where it's like, well, that's one of the signposts to the end of this comic ticked off. And but of course, like One Piece, still introduces a brand new recurring character at the same time.
Just when I was up the ladder, ticking that box, I know something in the corner I gotta tick off now. Ah, Jesus.
One Piece episodes, not quite caught up with Conan yet, but getting there. It's 1120. The world is shaken, the ruler's judgment, and the five elders' actions. This seems like an eternity ago that I watched this. I'm trying to remember what happened in it.
Vivi and Wapol have their incredible escape, by which I mean they stow away on the luggage. It's pirates. Yes. You know how this fucking goes. We don't even show how Jewelry Bonnie does it, because it's just like, stowing away.
Everyone's doing it.
It's the cool pirate thing to do.
Except Otis does the classic, let's knock out a guard, steal the uniform, and steal.
I don't think he knocks out the guard, because he's going through the woods like all bloodied and bruised, because he got stabbed pretty bad, and it's like a guard catches up to him, and then there's a big blood spray. I think he fucking brained that guy. Like, that guy's dead. Dead off screen.
Okay, no one dies in One Piece unless you're on an island that got annihilated by a UFO.
So he's initially disguised as a guard, and then he disguises himself. Actually, he just stows away, and everyone's delighted that he stows away, because they were planning to have a revolt and, I guess, like dethrone their king as soon as he gets off the boat. They're like, "Thanks, Sabo, you did it." And he's like, "Yes." If we saw in the newspapers, you're deposing and murdering kings left, right, and center. He's like, yes.
Well, that one king did look just like a Dracula, so he was probably pretty bad news. We had to get rid of him.
And a guy called Cobra, that's like a Dracula, pointy fangs. It's like, yeah. So we see you, Sabo. You're cool by us. And he's like, and on the boat back to the Revolutionary Army's headquarters, he was ringing him and go like, yeah, I was coming back from this kingdom. I didn't kill him. I didn't do it. And then the island gets fucking vaporized from space. So he's kind of like, was that me? Did I do that? But the way it's framed in the show, that was just just going like, can we vaporize that island, guys? It's just, I really feel like doing that right now. And everyone's just
why,
like,
Your
idea,
Majesty?
Boss.
It's closest one.
Initially, they're kind of like, are you? Why? And they're like you said, it's the closest one. So he's kind of like, they're all like,
you gotta save
yes,
the petrol,
man.
Fucking, I'm not paying for this every week.
I really like how the reveal of N is like, we were scared of like the five elders for ages, or they're like the big bads, that kind of thing. It's like, no, they're just goons. They're just yes men to the actual big bad. I really like that as a thing. They're still powerful and dangerous, but they're like not the bit you got to be worrying about.
Did you get this like robotic, like they've been programmed looking way about deciding things about themselves, even the kind of the way like it's probably probably very President Island. Yeah, it's probably going to revolt anyways. Especially just head off right now. Yeah, and this is like a machine that's going about the most efficient solution is to blow it up.
Well, the boss said blow it up, so the boss gets what he wants.
Yeah, we get Ivankov being in the role of the One Piece viewer, reader, laying out his fan theories to Dragon and Sabo.
But he also has the lore, like, so yeah.
Yes.
Whereas Sabo and Dragon have no idea what the fuck is going on in most situations, it seems, which is grand.
Yes, because apparently the last Imu that they knew of was one of the first 20 Nerona Imu. And so possibly they've turned themselves immortal using the technique that we were established with Trafalgar Laws.
We know that there's a fruit that lets you turn immortal, which means we know it can turn you immortal, which means someone must have turned themselves immortal, because otherwise how the fuck
one
we know?
person did.
And who would the fucking top guys in the government be scared of? An immortal man. Fucking, I figured it all out. He's right, probably, but still.
And that it's not a natural disaster. It must be either one of Vegapunk's inventions, and they're like, no, Vegapunk would never do that. So it's probably an ancient weapon.
And that is one of the things that Emma was saying as well, where it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I want Vivi, and it's like, okay, because like their family also has some connection to the ancient weapons, and I presume he'd also like want Shiroshi as well, right? Because
I don't think they know though that.
Oh, they don't. But he would want it if he did. If that does come.
But does want it because they have been like having that photo of them. Maybe just like princesses. They're like getting up pretty ladies.
Gotta collect all the princess. I guess he is a bit like Ice King shaped, except longer, much longer.
It's all crowned though. I mean, it's compensating. That's like royalty.
I hope it's like a series of crowns just stacked on top of each other. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
At least 20.
And we also get Wapol communicating with Morgans to harbour him and Vivi in return for exclusive rights to their story.
I'll give you the story if you protect me, because they're out to kill me. And I love how Morgans is playing it straight. He's like, yeah, no problem, bud. And off the phone, he's just like, fucking yes, this is the good shit. I'm going to sell so many newspapers.
And the end of the episode is the execution of Milsgard, the saint who turned against the other saints, and he's being executed by Figerland Garling, head of the God's Knights, who is a man with his hair is crescent moon is also in the shape of like the Navy's symbol.
His haircut is both a crescent moon and a cross. From the side, it's a crescent moon. From the front, it's a cross, because like the two crescents make the top and bottom of it. So yeah, it's a good haircut.
Yeah, and if you've seen One Piece Red, you know that Garling is Shanks' surname. And if you haven't, you've probably heard about everybody talking about it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, like, we knew he had an in the government, so yeah, that's a pretty clear line.
See, Shanks was never able to do a beard that impressive. That's what he has, the best he can do. So he was cast out of the family. It's like, get out! We have no son.
Yeah, he was waiting 20 years to see if he could grow a similar beard, and he's just given up. So he's going to
never happened for him
instead.
Disinherited. So of course
he can never be Redbeard, the pirate. Yeah.
Of course, he turned to a life of crime. Happens every day.
I thought this was a point we could jump off because the next episode's a recap, but I had forgotten until I saw the preview of this upcoming episode. Is that we're still in the middle of the Garp versus Kusan fight?
Yeah, because it's like next week we're going to be talking about the Navy. Have you heard of the Navy? In the Navy, you can join your fellow man, and it's also at the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, they were still fighting. I forgot about that because it shows Garp doing the punch, and it's like, yeah, that's right.
Soon, action.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the brakes are off, and it's just careering. The story's careering towards its finale.
While dicking about constantly.
Yes, and introducing new characters when you think, come on, give it a rest. We've got to get to the end of this.
Yeah. I did enjoy when that recent issue where it's just like, okay, we are moving some of the characters ahead of where they need to be, but they're wildly running around like headless chickens, and also they're all in brand new costumes once again. It's just like, okay, yeah, you're just getting
stop. Never gonna get there.
Next on the list of things we watched, it's Elusive Samurai episode 11. Samurais who are eager to die and an elusive samurai. In which we meet a new worst villain. It is Shinonoro Kami Kiyohara. He is the new Imperial official. He's been sent to take control.
Noble, hoity-toity dude.
I didn't look up any historical pictures of him, but I assume they're very like how he looks in this.
Oh, that is the style in Kyoto. Sadamuni, you're a disgrace. Let me do your brows for you. Yes, now you're looking.
So when
very good, sir.
Basically, this high bigwig has come down, going like, "I'm in charge of this. This is basically my world. I run all this shit. Fucking, I was asked by the boss to do it, so you guys work for me. I'm going to be in charge of the army. I'm going to tell the army what to do." And he's like, "Oh, my eye. Oh, it's swollen. Ears guy, can you go fucking sort out that guy? Because my eye is really sore. That's my whole thing. What gonna do?"
Yes, it was great because it's like, oh yeah, this firmly establishes Sadamuni as Ichikawa as like the middle manager villains, and you get more sympathy.
He'd probably be grand. He's kind of a dick in that he's taking advantage of this power grab situation, but like other than that, he's not so bad.
Come on, sir.
He's bad, but he's not as bad.
We say we wouldn't tax this because just to keep the people on side a little bit, you know.
Yeah, because I think it's the second harvest they don't get taxed on, so that's all for them. That's all money they can sell or food they can eat because it's millet and whatnot.
No, it's mine.
I'm taking the second tax, and it's just like, that's not how it's supposed to be done. Well, I was put in charge, so I think you find that is the way it's done. And it's like, yes, sir.
My biggest, fattest general to get around up off you.
Biggest, fattest, loudest so far.
Stillest as well. You just don't really animate his face when he's shouting. It just goes.
I don't know how to do those cheeks. I was wondering how they were going to make that look, and I still don't understand what exactly that is. It's like he's got two like lumps there. It's very strange.
Not the strangest face you're going to see in this episode.
No, not even.
Yeah, so the boys have been sent on a dangerous mission to negotiate with a samurai called Hoshida, who they want him to retreat and not fight. The Imperial official.
They're really good fighters. So if we can get them to join our larger forces, they'll be great for like an actual battle rather than them getting randomly killed for honor because he took the extra fucking millet in the crop. It's just like, that's a stupid reason to get all your boys killed, but it would be honorable. You gotta admit.
It's the principle of the thing, damn it.
And because of the vision, it's like if we send the girls, the vision's not going to work out well, so it's just the boys this time. And so they arrive at the camp. They directed to Hoshida by a guy with tiny dots for her eyes.
A very polite man.
Is a sensible man, and throughout the episode, it will turn out that he is not a sensible man. In fact, very few of these people are not sensible, but he may be the least sensible.
No, he's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's the most dangerous person there, but he happens to be potentially recruitable onto our side. So yay! Maybe not most dangerous, most scary. Yeah.
Yeah. So it turns out Hoshida and his men have a death wish to a comical extent.
They're all like, Tenno's like, how are you gonna die? I'm gonna get shot by 1,000 arrows and I'm gonna die. He's like, I'm gonna kill the enemy commander, and then they're all gonna stab me. Ooh, pretty good. You know, just
I'm gonna crawl up his asshole before I die. I'm gonna burst off his chest like an alien. A film that hasn't been invented yet. Also, don't know what films are.
And I'm pretty sure that'll kill me doing it, but it'll look fucking pretty cool. Yeah, that guy's not well.
Oh, no lunch for me. I have plenty of raw meat in the battlefield.
Yes,
face dripping with blood. It's just like, buddy.
You're a cannibal as well. Excellent.
But he's a cannibal who we could recruit to our side. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, but they meet a guy called Shinomiya, who's come here to act as reinforcements and help these guys retreat. And he's like, they don't want to retreat. Can you convince
Like he
them
is
to
the
retreat?
actual sensible guy.
Yes.
Like he could
he's
join
got-
my forces upriver and would be grand, like because they're wildly outnumbered down here.
Yeah, but they want to fight, and so they have to like organize the battlefield in such a way that they're going to lose the least amount of men in their fight.
So they set up smoke downwind, so
yes,
it obscures the enemy archers. They release the chocks on the levee kind of thing, so when the men try to cross the river, it's just like they're getting washed away. And they're still wildly outnumbered, but the guys don't win immediately on the first fucking day. It's just like, that's not a win, though.
There's a lot to do with Kajira running around beheading people, and
that helps.
On horseback. Takayuki thinks, "Oh, this will convince them," but no, they're like, "He's." She was like,
a lot of work.
Excellent.
Oh man,
that child is so impressed with our fighting that he also wants to throw his life away on the battlefield, which is the point at which Takayuki then has to give him a stern talking to, and then a drunken talking to.
Like the whole "I don't give a fuck that you want to die," like that's stupid. And he's like, "How fucking dare you insult my samurai's honor?" That it's stupid. And he's like throwing sake in his face to try and. It's like, "Are you fucking sobered up yet?" But the splash of sake has made a small child drunk. It's like the backsplash, really, from him.
Here's what I think of you.
What's the insult he says to the samurai? They're all like, "How fucking dare you insult his honor?" It's like, "You're all buffoons or something." And they're all like, "What? Fucking really?"
Do you hate you and your fucking stupid faces? In fact, you've all got fucking stupid faces.
Stupid faces. That's the thing that they all get genuinely hurt.
Hey, what?
They all have terrible faces. There's one dude who looks like a thumb. Actually, there's two dudes who look like a thumb. One is like a thumb that's caving in. Yeah.
Well, one of them, I think he's squinting so hard, he's like making those shadows around his eyes, but to a ridiculous extent.
His face is just a shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the comic they go into that in more detail. The fact that he's squinting so hard. Maybe that's in the next episode. I don't know.
Yeah, they might introduce these guys if they survive, kind of thing, rather than
very geometric face.
Yeah, and then Takayuki starts doing butt attacks to Hashina's head repeatedly, which this is what causes him to sober up. Is being repeatedly attacked by a 9-year-old's butt.
It's not painful. It's just embarrassing. It's just like, okay, please stop.
He's like, okay, we'll retreat. Everybody, gather your tablets. We're going to retreat. To which, of course, Ichikawa overhears this from across the other side of the river and says they're retreating.
It's not even I heard them say they're gathering families. I can hear them gathering their families. It's
He's like, that's great for us because we can now just claim their land without having to fight. But of course, Kiyohara is also a bloodthirsty fool. He's a different bloodthirsty fool. He's the bloodthirsty fool who's getting other people to do the fighting for him.
Yeah. That means we should chase them because now we can kill them and their families because they'll only come back and get us later. It's like, yeah, but that's later. That's a later problem. Like, it'd be sensible to just take the win because this is a win. But nope.
Let it ride.
The two lads notice that Yonimaru, who's like the military man who Kiyohara's brought with him, is pursuing them, and then it's like, haha, it's time for the chase. And we'll go into that next episode.
And this was the part of it where it's just like the high priest was kind of saying to him, "Is like, you're good at running away on your own, but as a general, you need to get your army to be able to run away." And this is like the bit that obviously it's been leading up to for him. It's just like, yeah, you do need to like get your forces out of Dodge as well as just yourself.
Yep. So that's where we leave it. As they're being pursued, but that's the way he likes it. He likes to be chased. That's how he wins, is people chasing him.
Yeah, a little historical tidbit there. Well, it's like these guys, well, we're going to die for honor, and everyone saying, well, actually, the statistics bear out that most historical figures aren't remembered for the glorious battle, more so of how they survived and changed the country, what they achieved. It's just like, so it was stupid then, it's stupid now.
Yeah, I did like it pointing out the Hojo clan who all like died in battle or killed themselves so they couldn't be captured. That's an honorable way to die. No one gives a fuck about that now.
No one cares about your integrity. You died like a punk.
Yeah, you lost. Those guys are fucking dead.
And specifically showing Takeuchi as you're talking about that. So it's like, no, this is the guy who killed them all. He's the guy who's remembered in the historical books. It's not the guys who got killed.
The guy who did more of the killing is the guy they teach in history, because it's like, well, that guy kept going around and killing people, and we have to
killed
learn
a lot
all
of
the
people.
he
Like
killed.
he set up like a lot of records at this time for killing people.
Next on the docket, it's Kinnikuman Perfect Origin Arc, Episode 11, The New Large Numbers.
Even larger than the last. One of them anyway.
About the same amount, really. Like, they appear to have exactly enough guys to replace all the guys who went missing or died.
Yes, a whole bunch of new perfect shoujus show up, including one who then they do notice they're not fools. They go, "Hey, that guy, he looks an awful lot like the outfit you wear, and all the people on Planet Kinniku tend to wear."
He's got the head ridge. He's got the big round face thing. It's just like that's a Kinnikuman. Like, we know what the fuck
he's trying to be the most, like, you know, I'm a very fucking tough. I'm a deadly serious Kinnikuman. I'm called Nemesis. Don't mess with me. I'll cut you.
Yeah, why don't you go and ask your dad who this guy is? We don't get
an insult if you don't want to answer someone's question. It's like, why
did
you ask your
dad? He's just posing. Nope, he's actually taking our dudes and he's like doing the traditional like Kinniku family like secret techniques, and all of them is like, okay, there's only a few guys who should know how to do that. And one of them is dead. Most of them are dead. Okay, what's happening? Maybe he's the real deal.
They try and kill Peekaboo for being a disgrace and not killing himself, but Kinnikuman saves him, but also takes the brunt of the move. So they both haven't died, but they're both now in no condition to fight. Terryman's in no condition to fight. Geronimo
should again just sit down, shut the fuck up, because they all go after him again.
Was cut. He's doing great, I gotta say, but like, do sit the fuck down, yeah.
You can see now how all these other dudes, how they do their special moves. It's just like, oh shit, it's just fucking thrown all around the place.
So Buffalo Man, Spring Man, Black Hole are like, well, I guess it's 3 versus 7 or whatever the number is. It must be 7 because 4 more people are about to walk through the door. We're Cuba Chojin. We're tough enough. We'll take all of you on our own. But they don't need to take them on their own because they're be medically cleared. Here come the rest of the
interest music. Yeah.
Woo!
My God. It's great. It's great, and it's so long they take to walk out, but it's great.
Well, they gotta do a few high fives. They gotta do a few autographs, on the way through. Everyone's waiting for them to come back.
A few handshakes, a few baby kisses. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Brock and Junior, Walls Man, Ramen Man, and Robin Mask. They're here to join the fight.
It's like, whoa, looks like it's 7-on-7. What's about that? It's pretty funny.
And where are they going to fight? Well, they're going to fight on a pyramid.
Did you know? Egypt. Have you heard of this ancient fucking pyramid? It's like, yeah, obviously, as wrestlers, we all know about that fucking pyramid. It was a wrestling ring, and I was expecting it to be like, wasn't that in Tiger Mask where they had the pyramid of wrestling rings? But this one is just like, it's a pyramid with wrestling rings on it. I was like, oh, that's a bit of a letdown. But it's funny that they destroyed half the pyramid for no fucking reason. Because like, well, that back of the pyramid doesn't fucking matter. Let's just destroy that. Like.
I just interested that that's the way it was laid out. You know, because you kind of dodge around the corner, but the inside was always also the outside of the ring.
Also, the wrestling rings are very modern. They're just wrestling rings.
Wrestling's always been like that, Brian. Since the dawn of fucking time.
Wrestling ring is ancient alien technology.
Plastic
was out of place artifact.
It's very silly and great, and just the whole thing of it's like, actually the pyramids were made for wrestling. Of course they were. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
Some of these new dudes are pretty wild. Like the dude is just fucking. My thing is just, I'm a set of like hot and cold taps.
Man, that was great. That fucking, like, it was just like, and he'd have to actively like use his arm to turn off the tap on his right arm to use the tap on his left arm. And I was like, that's so awkward. I love it. And he just shoots. As he shoots Geronimo with boiling water.
Yep, he scalds his flesh off. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. You know, I even marvelous to Dragon Man, but like she shoots like fun fire lightning at him, and even that didn't like do that kind of damage. It just singed him a bit.
Yeah. There's a guy who's I think he's just called the Grim Reaper, and he looks like
He looks like the guy.
Kilburn, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, that's it. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah. I was just like, hey, it's Kilburn.
I believe that's not an accident.
Oh, and a guy who I thought was wearing a polar bear mask, but I think is actually a polar bear. It's a strange situation. No, I mean like his mouth opened and closed, and also one of his feet was like a polar bear foot, but not the other one. It's a very strange situation.
You know,
he was in a transporter accident with a polar bear.
He was shaving his chest, for the people steam after his back. He ran out of time. He could exterminate.
Yeah, a good group of weirdos essentially. Yeah.
And also took Man Crush Man are still there.
Yeah, I know their deal now though, so I'm less excited about them.
Well, you finally get their wish to fun saying, "Oh, I'm a much more extreme version of you, Wars man. When I fight you, you're going to get him. He's going to kill you."
Mm-hmm.
Well, except that's not what the matchup is. The matchup is, it's very different matchups. Yeah, this is the fourth tournament, the second tournament of 4 tournaments apparently. So,
right.
Do they have even more large numbers?
We gotta have rules when you're destroying the Earth. It's
yeah.
We may as well be organized about it.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's kind of
It's back in January,
and then or is it ending here and back in January?
It's done. It's finito.
Yeah.
So we got
okay.
Because you technically get 12 with the 0 in there as well. You see.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes, that's what's confused me. That's good because there's like 6 things airing tomorrow. That I'm interested in
I was kind of like initially disappointed by this. It's like, oh man, no more Kinnikuman for what? It's like, oh wait, lots of things. Okay, I can wait. It's good.
Too many things. My list is currently 17 things, and that's not including the things we're already watching. Continue.
Right. Okay.
MAYONAKA Punch, episode 12, the last live stream, in which the show ends in the best possible way. Turns out all the things you were emotional about last episode were a prank.
You, the audience, have also been pranked. Good stuff. It's nice as well because it doesn't feel like it feels within the tone of the show because it's literally like a YouTube prank video. So that works. They never explain to the audience how you convinced your producer that vampires are real, but other than that, it's a water fucking tight case. That they could do follow-up videos on of how they set this whole situation up, except for the vampires part. That part's a little confusing.
Yes, there was a spooky night. We just went with it.
Yeah, but the human girlfriend for 20 years ago did not exist.
No, she did. As a child. But the thing
it was a different story.
Yeah, it was a different story. Like the story was true. It's just we obfuscated it a little bit. So it has the whole thing of like the girls are getting taken out and put inside coffins. It's really funny to me that you what's her name gets taken out like immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a really bad showing. And they're all getting taken out, and the comments are coming in. Everyone's like, "It's fake. What are you talking about? Vampires aren't real." And so like when all the vampires get taken out, it's like, hey, it's me, I'm on screen, I'm gonna have to do this. And also this is also my apology video as I run away from masked vampires.
But you've got the attention of all the people you befriended over the course of the series. They're gonna boost you up. You're gonna have fun. Say, hey, like and share. Everyone get it out there.
It turns out one of the most key pivotal moments was going to that YouTuber collaboration because they're all like, yeah, I'll post this to my followers, and then just like, wow, the numbers just fucking swell up.
And also because some of the people they met there are involved in this prank.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, this is probably going on their channel as well. Yeah.
It's all an elaborate prank, which is, and it involved the what are they called? The two guys who look like they're about to go in the shower or in the bath all the time.
They're not the Backstreet Boys. They're the
It's something
fucking
like that. Yeah.
It's the fucking something I think of that sidewalk lads. I don't know.
And Masaki's two former YouTube hosts, and Levi is the fifth one of the five mysterious people who were chasing them around.
Well, once the vampires get taken out, they can just pop on a costume, and it's like now we got more dudes.
Yes, and the plumber is helping with the streaming.
As a plumber should do, help make things flow properly.
I mean, he's still probably cancelled, but I mean, at least he's involved. Yes. That's nice.
Well, he took a behind the camera role like Masaki did. Until his reputation can recover.
And they've still got a month to save the house. That was never under threat. There was never a reduced time for a mother. So they've still got time to get their 1 million followers.
I was like, why was the house covered in a big tarp? Renovations. It's just like,
yes.
Okay.
But now the deal to drink her blood is null and void. And then, we get the bit after the credits where we've got discussion with Mother, and then Mother explains, what really happened 20 years ago was that Levi got fed up with being inside at nighttime, outside only at nighttime, inside during the day, and decided she was going to fly out in the daylight, which almost got her killed, except a little girl gave her some blood in her little vampire bat form, which saved her life.
And it was the whole thing is like, little bat, you could suck me dry. Weird thing for a child to say, but she was and continues to be a weirdo. But also it's like, you stupid bat, when she got bit, which is like the shot of that was like, no, I remember. It's just like, you're that fucking kid. It's like, that's why I want to eat you. Okay.
And and then we get a little coda with them all being pals, flying off in the moonlight together.
Yes, as good pals are often want to do.
Yes, just good pals.
I was thinking this season, in these shows. Actually, this year we've had like a lot of shows with lesbians. No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We had this. We had obviously Dungeon People. The other Dungeons one, the Dungeon Meshi. We've had more lesbians than that. I'm trying to think of the other ones.
You've had to we go back before then. The Witch from Mercury. That was just like they got fucking married at the end.
I mean, like very clear lesbians. But we had such literally and figuratively gigantic gays at the start of the year. So they had to kind of make up. It was like, we just need to spread out more lesbians, I think.
Just to counteract Braver, you made,
I was incredibly gay. It was a very gay show. It's like, we need to do some lesbians over the course of the year, just to even it out. Like,
Well, people seem to get more of it, and this definitely ended off with like, if you let us make more, we'll totally do it. Otherwise, it feels like a little satisfying little stretched episode too about a cool thing. Like, if vampires making YouTube videos, what's not to enjoy? They can make more videos if you want. If you just let us, just say the word. We'll see what the sales are like, huh?
Yeah, it's directors 2 for 2 now with this and your boy Kobe. So definitely interested in whatever else they're going to do.
And it's definitely like a weird combination of like, hey, it's this other kind of trope that you're aware of, but put into modern media type things. This is like success though. So yeah.
Then we got Chibi Godzilla raids again, episode 25 of season 2, halfway through the season.
Chibi Mechagodzilla bugs out.
He does, because they're going to go visit Chibi Godzilla's home, which is under the sea.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, where the fuck did you think Godzilla lives? It's in the song. Yeah.
Which Chibi Mechagodzilla says, I can't do that. I'm not waterproof. And then they peer pressure him by dragging him underwater.
Well, I mean, he says, like, I'll probably bug out if I go underwater. So, like, oh, you're going into the water. But, and he does. He is incredibly drunk on seawater, I guess. It's a terrible guest as well.
The robots, yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
just to kind of like... Sorry.
Yeah, Chibi Godzilla's house is like this metal bunker under the sea, living with Chibi Godzilla, of course. Yeah. Yes, that is just drunk Chibi Mechagodzilla.
Just like randomly was like, oh, I think I'm gonna hurl. I'm only fucking with you. Put it down the fridge. You know, just like every fucking kind of drunk thing possible. Good shit.
Yeah, he asks if he can smoke inside, which just means just
Sorry, I'll just do it next to a bench.
Yeah. Just behaves, as you say, as they point out, is like just behaves like an unruly guest. Eats their pudding.
What a joke.
Yeah, I think God's Gigan, I think, is next episode finally showing up.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Member of Miyano.
Yes, gets about.
How to get him? Let's Gigan.
Maybe the promise of playing Gigan. Yeah.
I was born to play, baby.
Last thing this week, Dungeon People, episode 12, Dungeon People, in which the first half is what do the monsters eat?
What's the dungeon meshy like in this place? It's like, well, we can do one episode about that rather than an entire series. So yeah.
Yes. So they go. There's the section of the dungeon which is outside. To which the question is, why don't you make a level of the dungeon like this? Clay asks, and Belle says, because it's not dungeon-like enough.
Not dungeony.
Yes, which is a recurring thing of hers. Is she wants the dungeon to be dungeony. And this is like the establishing the one of the themes that's gone through the series is like more definitively looked at here. It's like Belle has inherited this dungeon from her master, and some of it would work if he was here, but because she's not him, she's got to change how the dungeon works. So it works under hers, because they're talking about the food, and they say we used to have the food separated. We'd give it to particular types of creatures to manage different parts of.
Yeah, we used to let the gnomes do the farm stuff. We used to let the tree ants do the wood stuff, and we used to let the rock turtles do the
turtle do the earth. Yeah.
But they all were very particular, and it's like like crafts people. They all had their own fucking thing, and also they'd randomly start attacking other monsters and that kind of shit. So it was just the golems are less efficient, but they do a pretty good job, and that's good enough, basically. So yeah.
Yes, it's like Belle hasn't got the management skills to keep these highly skilled monsters under control. Now, where she's describing all this, it's clear from the animation that the stone turtle just didn't do anything.
No. Stone Turtle, you're in charge of rocks. Cool. I'm just gonna nap over here if that's cool with you guys.
No. They're steeping. You know, that does minerals. You know, more salt any day now.
Yeah. There's the fun gag at the start of this is the very first thing they see or meet is the Minotaur. It's Pentello, I think his name is. And it's like, okay, what do dinosaurs eat? Well, they're based on cows, so they eat grass. And then it's like, what would a Minotaur eating grass look like? What is the most efficient way for a Minotaur to eat grass?
It's so good because when you think of like a centaur, and it's like that doesn't make any sense. Does he have to lean forward and take out fistfuls of grass and shove them in his human mouth? It's like, would he be able to chew enough grass with his human mouth to do this? It's like, but just the centaur just splayed out, going like, oh yeah, this is fucking great.
Minotaur's like, he's splayed out on the ground eating it, and he looks so happy eating the grass that Clay wants to try the grass, to which Belle's like, no, you're a human, you can't eat grass, that'll be bad for your stomach.
Yeah, he offers her particularly, it's like, oh man, these are fresh shoots, you got to try these. And Clay's like, I do want to fucking give that a go because you make it look delicious. And it's like, no, he has 4 stomachs, it's a different situation, do not fucking do
that. Then she runs into the cat and they go hunting for mice together in the forest. And this is the point where you're like, oh yeah, because she's like gone into these dungeons alone so often, she relates better to the monsters who she used to fight than she does to human beings.
Yeah. That's why she's good at this job. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, to which the cat eventually has to pretend that it's tired because it's just being shown up by this human in its attempt to hunt mice. Who else did they meet out there?
Obviously the golems work in the fields and stuff.
Yes.
But
she wants to show her the special place, but then she starts noticing there's a light blinking on top of Clay's head.
I like the way it's framed, like it's just cut off. You can't see the notification over it. It makes her look like a sim. is the thing I was
Yes,
thinking.
you could just see originally. You could just see like a sort of a pink light blipping on her forehead, and then once they go to they have to replace the jewel which is involved in the fake bodies because the magic's running out on it. So we're going to put a new one in, which means we're going to transfer all the data from this jewel to the new jewel, and I need you to hold it, and then we can see that whenever this is happening, everybody starts getting this icon on their foreheads, showing that the energy is running out in the crystal. So they do that, and then they take the crystal because she wants to recycle the old one to this really super secret area of the dungeon. It's got multiple seals to get to, and she's like, it's like this orb with like the it's like the letters of the language like flying out of it in like a orbit.
Flying out in like tendrils that are pumping into parts of the ceiling, presumably spells that are sustaining the dungeon, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, except yes, so it's like, you know what a dungeon core is, and we get like a little explanation of what dungeon cores are normally like in these dungeons. And she says, "Is this dungeon core?" Is it? No, it's an attempt my master did of trying to make an artificial dungeon core, and it doesn't really work. All it does is pump magic around.
Like you have to do a lot of administration. Like
So if you destroyed this, it wouldn't destroy the entire dungeon like a dungeon core normally would. So I'm going to try and recycle that jewel. So she tries to do this magic, and Clay's like, "Oh, this is the first time I've seen her do something like this." And it's like intense chanting, and then the crystal just explodes. And they're like, "Well, that went better than normally does." It's like every time she's tried this so far, it hasn't worked, but she got further into the chanting than before. And then they go off and they go and look at the view that she wanted to show her, and it's kind of like, I've seen people complain about this on the when I looked at my anime list reactions to it, that there's no mention of Clay's father in this episode. I was like, I think that's the point. I think the point is that that's now off her mind.
Yeah, that was the last episode was handling those questions.
Yes.
So yeah.
She's now you see in like the way she looks at Belle, the way she thinks about Belle. It's like Belle is now her focus, not her dad anymore.
She's I mean the episode's open with her eating a meal, and it's like, hey, how do the monsters eat their meals? Come on, I'll show you. And it's like, I'm interested in your work and the thing that you're interested in, and you is like that's clearly the way the episode is going. Like, come on.
Yes, and vice versa. Yeah. And that like you kind of want them to hold hands at the end because they kind of move in a way that you think they're going to hold hands.
They're walking close to each other. Their hands are swinging by, and it's kind of like.
I mean, they could have been holding hands just off screen, just like the light was just off screen. But yeah, that's the end of this, and don't expect any more any soon because there's only 5 volumes, and only 1 volume comes out a year.
That's fine. Let them take their time.
That's how much research they do. Into dungeons.
Yes, into dungeons, yeah. It's a consistent show, and I think particularly if you like D&D and you're aware of like the history of D&D, that's the big appeal for me for it.
Yeah, that it's not a necessary thing for watching it, but it's a thing that improves a lot of the jokes and references. Like even though it's like it's not dungeony enough, it's like you could just put like a square grid on a field and we could be fighting in a forest. It's like, that's not a dungeon. I know what a dungeon is. It's fucking rocks and doors and traps.
Because even in this, there's a bit in this about that big jewel. Is that she said she found this big jewel underground and it's too big for her to move, so she just built a dungeon room around it and left it where it was.
The kind of laziness, but the very specific kind of like, I know what a dungeon is and isn't. Like, I got my opinion as a DM. That kind of
thing. Yeah, and it's like having a logical, in quotation marks, explanation for why an old school D&D dungeon would look the way it does, rather than anything a human in real life might have designed. And that's it for this week. And by Jove, so many things next week. Right.
Yep.
This is what is on my list.
Okay.
I may not get to all of it.
We'll give it a lash.
Things that had caught my eye based on trailers.
Dan
to Dan. Obviously.
Yes.
I've already. Blue Box. I was like, I haven't read the comic, but the trailer looked well animated, and I was like, it's quite clever how he has managed to work 2 sports into a manga by making a romance between the 2 people playing the 2 different sports.
Again, Let's see. Well, again, it's
so that's if I get time to watch it.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a popular thing because it's like it was the first one of these kind of things for a lot of people. I think it's caught on, but maybe make much merit beyond that, and it's gonna do the same thing again. It could be a lot of people's first go at one of these because it looks so nice.
Wasn't expecting this. It's now showed up on Crunchyroll. Kino Koino Mushroom Pup, which appears to be about a guy whose dog had died. He buried it in the garden, and then a mushroom grows where his dog had died, and that mushroom is half dog, half mushroom.
Okay,
that does sound pretty good.
Well, good for him. I'm glad this worked out.
Mecha Uday, Mechanical Arms.
Yes.
Long promised. Here it is. Negative Positive Angler.
Yeah.
That's good. The melodrama of that, yeah, good. Could really add something to it, but it looked quite nice in the trailer too.
Trillion Game.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to learn about economics in a fun time.
Hayakusho Kizoku, The Farmer's Days, second season. So we're relying on the people who fansubbed the last season, fansub this season. But as they just put out a torrent of the entire season, I think they might do.
Okay. Right.
Magi Lumiere Magical Girls Inc. This is on Amazon Prime for those people who didn't know where this was turning up.
I think I bounced off the comic a little, but mostly because I was reading other stuff. I was enjoying it.
No, it's good. You get a volume maybe every now and again. So if I'm already kind of reading it, so if I can't squeeze this in, then I'm all
sure.
Yeah. And the other one on my list for this week is The Stories of Girls Who Couldn't Be Magicians.
Oh, yeah.
Because the trailers for that look good as well. That's just this week's stuff.
There was so much more.
There is.
Tell them what they've won.
That's next week's problem. That's Brian from next week's problem. This is the problem for Brian this week. Yes.
That's fairly loaded. I feel like it's going to be like Killing Your Darlings all over again, but that's okay. That happens sometimes.
There's a new fucking Dragon Ball cartoon this year. So
there is, yes. But we don't have to worry about that till the following Friday.
Yeah.
Nor do we have to worry about Ranma. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or
it's on the way.
What else is there?
There's Orb on the movements of the Earth.
That's the kind of thing I can really get into as well. I've been kind of I've been quite curious about the comic for a little while now.
Neko OG, the guy who got reincarnated as a cat, except I don't think that's been picked up by anybody. So I'm just hoping there's YouTube subs.
I want to see this one about the dog and the corgi, because the Lord is clearly Nobunaga. I want to see Nobunaga running around with a corgi.
Yes, it's Akiyotsuka.
Yes.
Welsh corgi. Yeah. A terrified teacher at Ghoul School.
I've seen the trailers. I'm warmed right off of that.
Oh, I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, I'm interested in that.
I'm not confident if it's going to be something different from he's very scared in that school, but he do have a lot of fun, pretty fucking ones who are after him as well. There's also a problem that Aruma had, but I think I handled this in a different way. It was more interesting.
And yes, Dragon Ball Daima. And then I don't think there's anything after that. I think that was it.
I think we're good for the rest of the year. Yeah.
Too many, yes. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be down to Dan.
Yeah.
Probably Ranma half. Probably Dragon Ball.
I will look at the new Mahjong one as well to see what that's like.
Which one's that?
Tohai Urarate Mahjong Tohai Roku. I'm not familiar with what this is. I know a little bit of that, but it's I know it's about there's a young Mahjong prodigy who goes into the back rooms of city gambling dens and wows him with his skills and makes huge wins. But I'm always in the market, mostly in the market for a Mahjong thing. It's in my niche. If it's a good one, it could be one to look out for. But then I can also see that as something that I can just punt down the line because I think it'll be interesting. But the two big things are most more just as a whole is executed to the fullest in terms of how they look, how they flow, how they sound. I think that this would be like a workman-like kind of production there. I'll get to later on. But yeah, that's I need to really block out some time. For God's sake, this fucking Sengoku Yoko still running as well. I keep forgetting that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was a recap this week, so we did have to do it this week. Yeah, that's still continuing, and there'll still be Detective Conan's and One Piece episodes of Curiosity. But yes, plenty to get your teeth into, but you're not going out anywhere. Oh wait,
it's getting cold. We'll stay in and watch anime. It'll be great.
Stay here with us. Room for one more.
Right, that's it for this week. We gird our loins for the
pray for our souls.
Anime.
Light a candle for us.
I'm going to watch tomorrow, apparently, because it all seems to be on Thursdays.
It's weird that, yeah.
Right, ta-ra for now.
Right. Bye. Good night now.